Imagine Trump didn't win the 2024 election. Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out. Because this isn't a simple recount. It's a causality breach. Your memories are now in conflict. The evidence contradicts itself. And the rupture is only getting wider. Here's the thing. The first sign isn't a headline. It's in your gut. A physical weight. A phantom limb of certainty, amputated. You remember the concession speech. You also remember the victory speech. Both memories have the same texture, the same emotional weight. They're fighting for the same synaptic real estate. And your brain, the poor bastard, is trying to run two incompatible operating systems at once. This is the first fracture. You wake up on the morning of November 6, 2024, and your phone is blank. No push notifications. No news alerts. Just a silent black rectangle. You check your browser. The major news sites are still up, but their front pages are generic. Stock photos of flags. Apex headlines about infrastructure weak. The election coverage section is a 404 error. Not page not found. A genuine, glitching, hexadecimal void. The entire internet has developed digital aphasia. It can't name the thing that happened. You drive to work. The radio plays smooth jazz. Every station. You scan AM talk radio. Static. You pull over and check a physical newspaper from a box. The front page is about a local bake sale. The election results column is a smear of printer's ink, as if the press plates refuse to hold the shape of the words. Then you see it on a bus shelter poster. A campaign ad for the winner. But the face is a blur. The name beneath it shifts between two possibilities, like a corrupted file trying to render. Your eyes slide off it. It's physically painful to look at. This isn't misinformation. This is reality suffering a buffer overflow. The data for president-elect cannot resolve, and your biology notices first. The conflict creates a low-grade constant cortisol dump. Your adrenal glands are stuck in a feedback loop with no off-ramp. You're not anxious about an outcome. You're anxious because the outcome cannot be observed. It's the stress of a philosophical paradox made visceral. Your shoulders are up around your ears. Your jaw is clenched. You have a permanent headache centered right behind your eyes, the exact spot where visual recognition happens. This brings us to the algorithmic trigger. Social media doesn't just break. It bifurcates. Your feed splits cleanly down the middle. One timeline shows celebrations in Mar-a-Lago. The other shows celebrations in somewhere else. The comments on the same post are from two entirely separate user bases, each utterly convinced of their own timeline. The platform's content moderation AIs, designed to handle lies, have no protocol for competing truths. They start flagging everything. Then they start flagging each other's flagging systems. The whole architecture enters a logic spiral. And it leaks into infrastructure. Traffic lights in downtown Atlanta sequence based on electoral college projections that don't exist. Power grids in Pennsylvania experience brownouts, synchronized not to demand, but to the fluctuating probability models of a news network's decision desk. Automated trading algorithms, fed contradictory data streams, begin to execute sell orders and buy orders on the same stock simultaneously. The market doesn't crash. It spasms. This instability births something new. A fourth political drive. Not left. Not right. Not center. The drive for narrative coherence. Humans can tolerate hardship. We cannot tolerate ontological chaos. People stop caring about policy. They stop caring about borders or taxes. The only political position that matters now is, make the story make sense again. Factions coagulate not around a candidate, but around a preferred version of reality. Pro-truth gangs clash with pro-narrative militias. Their battle isn't over facts. It's over which set of facts gets to be the default setting for existence. Which leads to the mimetic cascade. The schism becomes self-replicating. It jumps mediums. You find a history textbook in a library. The chapter on the 2020s ends mid-sentence. The paper itself feels thin, insubstantial, as if the events lack the metaphysical weight to properly imprint. You watch a movie from 2025. In one version, a background news report mentions the president. The audio is clear. The mouth movements of the anchor don't match the words. In another copy of the same film, the scene is just silent. Your own memories begin to degrade. That specific sharp recollection of watching the debate? It softens. The edges blur. You remember the feeling of watching a debate. You can't recall who was on the stage. It's like trying to hold smoke. Your personal history develops lacunae, blank spots where pivotal events should be. The conflict isn't external anymore. It's rewriting your neural architecture. Your hippocampus is in civil war. Then, the silence finds the sound. On a Tuesday, all audio and video recordings from election night vanish. Not deleted. They revert to their raw, pre-data state. Security camera footage shows empty polling stations, the timestamps frozen. Broadcast archives are hours of color bars and test tones. The internet's memory of that night is replaced with a uniform, digital white noise. It's the sound of data refusing to be born. The schism reaches its event horizon. Physical objects tied to the outcome start to glitch. A Make America Great Again hat on a shelf might, for a fraction of a second, appear to be a different color. A campaign yard sign wavers in your peripheral vision, the text unreadable. The material world is losing its commitment to one timeline. The superposition is becoming unstable. And your body is the canary in this coal mine of causality. The stress hormones have shredded your immune system. You're constantly, mildly ill. Your sleep is a fractal of nightmares where you're simultaneously giving a concession speech and accepting a victory. You wake up exhausted. The constant cognitive dissonance manifests as a literal tinnitus, a high-pitched whine in your ears that's the frequency of two contradictory truths vibrating against each other. We now approach the full circle silence. The factions don't burn out. They exhaust their own definitions. When reality itself is the opponent, you eventually run out of things to fight. The pro-truth and pro-narrative groups, realizing they're arguing over the name of a phantom, simply stop. The news networks, unable to report on a thing that has no stable state, switch to broadcasting weather radar. Just endless, peaceful loops of storm fronts and sunny skies. The political energy dissipates. Not with a bang, but with a unanimous, culture-wide shrug. The silence that follows isn't peaceful. It's the silence of a question mark hanging over an entire civilization. We don't get an answer. We get an unresolved chord. The country doesn't move on. It moves around the void where that election should be. Inauguration Day happens. Someone takes the oath. You watch it on TV. The face is clear. The words are audible. And by the next commercial break you cannot recall a single detail. The event has no purchase. No consequence. It's a ritual performed into a vacuum. Your headache finally lifts. The cortisol drip stops. Your body accepts the new normal, a permanent, low-grade uncertainty. You go to work. You pay your taxes. You make small talk about the weather, because the weather is the only thing that still behaves according to a reliable set of rules. The great American political engine, the noise, the fury, it all just winds down. Not because the problems are solved, but because the foundational premise, that we all agree on what happened, has been permanently revoked. The ballot didn't vanish. The result did. And we built a whole reality on top of a whole that forgot its own shape. If you enjoyed this, like the video, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.